The mirror doesn't lie. Have you ever looked in the mirror and seen the truth? Not the face you show the world. Not the smile you fake to get through the day. But the real you. The tired eyes. The slouched shoulders. The soul that's been screaming for more, but keeps getting ignored. Not every morning. That mirror tells you the truth. You can lie to your friends. You can lie to your family. But you can't lie to that reflection. You've been carrying the same excuses over and over again. You say, tomorrow I'll change. But tomorrow becomes next week. Next week becomes next year. And next year becomes a lifetime of regret. Let me tell you something. You're not fooling anyone. Not really. Deep down, you know there's more in you. You know you've been holding back. The mirror shows it. Your actions prove it. The ancient Stoics called it attention to the present moment. But we ain't paying attention. We're sleepwalking through our lives. Doing what's easy. Doing what's safe. Going through the motions like robots with broken spirits. A tree doesn't apologize for growing. It doesn't wait for permission. It pushes through dirt, concrete, whatever's in the way. And yet, we humans make excuses. I'm not. Ready? I don't have time. I'm not that kind of person. S-T-O-P. You're feeding your fear. You're starving your potential. Carl Jung once said, we all have a shadow, the part of us we don't want to face. But it's not just your dark side. It's your unused power. Your voice that stays quiet. Your dream that stays buried. You already know what you need to do. You just keep ignoring that voice inside. And every time you ignore it, that mirror gets heavier. It reflects a person who knows, but won't act. Greatness doesn't come when the lights are on. It's built in the dark. It's built in the quiet. It's built in the mirror when no one's watching. And you choose growth over comfort. So here's the real question. If today was your last day, would you be proud of who you see in the mirror? Not who you plan to be. Not who you dream of becoming, but who you are right now. Because that person with all the flaws, all the pain, all the potential, that's the one who can change everything. Not someday, not maybe. Right now, the mirror doesn't lie. So stop lying to yourself. The weight of your own promises. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you kept a promise to yourself? Not the easy kind. Not, I'll drink more water. I'm talking about the ones that actually matter. The promise to get in shape. The promise to stop settling. The promise to become the person you said you would be. We treat promises to other people like gold. But when it's just us, we treat it like trash. You tell a friend, I'll be there, and you show up. You tell yourself, I'll wake up early, and you hit snooze 5 times. That's the truth. You lie to yourself more than anyone else. And here's the kicker. Every time you break a promise to yourself, you lose something you can't afford to lose. Trust. You stop believing in your own words. And if you can't trust you, why should anyone else? There's a term for it, cognitive dissonance. It's that nasty feeling when who you say you are doesn't line up with what you actually do. So, what do? We rewrite the story. I'm not lazy, I'm just tired. I don't need that promotion, too much stress. We become masters at telling ourselves pretty lies. But let me tell you something, the Stoics understood. Character isn't about being perfect, it's about being consistent. It's about doing what you said you would do, when it's hard, when it's cold, when it hurts. You think Marcus Aurelius wrote his thoughts to impress people. No, he was checking himself, holding himself accountable. Look, if a friend kept canceling plans on you, would you keep trusting them? No. So why do you keep canceling on you? Every time you say, I'll start Monday. Every time you break your word to yourself. You weaken the foundation of who you are. And you wonder why you feel lost. Why you feel tired. Because deep down, you don't believe you anymore. Discipline is the difference. Motivation is nice, but it doesn't last. Discipline, that's the lifeline. That's what keeps you breathing when the world's pressing down on your chest. Carl Jung talked about becoming your true self. But to get there, you've got to face the gap. The gap between what you say and what you actually do. So here's the question, and I wanted to hit hard. What promise have you broken so many times that it doesn't even hurt anymore? That's the one you need to fix. That's your first battle. And you don't need to win the war overnight. You just need to start by keeping one promise, one step, one choice, one action. Not for show, not for applause. For you, because your word has to mean something again. The comfortable prison life. Do we stay stuck in places that are slowly killing us? You know it. That job that drains you. That relationship that goes nowhere. That routine that numbs your soul. You say it's comfortable, but deep down, it's a cage. There's a story about a dog sitting on a nail. It's whining in pain. A man asks the owner, why doesn't the dog move? And the owner says, because it doesn't hurt bad enough yet. That's you. That's a lot of people. Hurting just enough to complain, but not enough to change. Tell ourselves stories. This is just how life is. At least I'm secure. Maybe one day I'll chase my dream. Let me hit you with truth. Your comfort zone is a prison. And every day you stay in it, the walls get tighter, the air gets thinner, and your potential suffocates. Psychologists call it comfort zone bias. We fear change. We think staying the same is safe. But here's what they don't tell you. Staying the same is the riskiest move of all. The Stoics didn't aim for ease. They practiced something called negative visualization. They imagined losing what they had so they'd appreciate it more and stop fearing discomfort. Because they knew fear and freedom don't live in the same house. Carl Jung talked about the persona, the mask you wear to fit in. But what happens when that mask becomes your face? You forget who you were. You stop growing. You confuse surviving with living. I once met a man who did the same thing every day for 20 straight years. Same job, same route, same lunch. He called it stability. But when I looked in his eyes, I saw a fire that had long gone cold. That man wasn't living. He was just counting days. Let me say this loud and clear. Most people die at 25 and get buried at 75. Not because they're dogs, but because they gave up on becoming more. Growth isn't safe. It's not supposed to be. A muscle doesn't grow without pain. A life doesn't expand without challenge. You don't evolve by sitting still. So here's what I need you to ask yourself. What are you calling comfortable that's actually keeping you small? And what would you do today if you knew discomfort is temporary, but regret lasts forever? Because that cage you're in, it's not locked. It never was. You just have to stand up and walk out. The stories we tell ourselves. Let me ask you something. Who's telling your story? Because if it's you, why does it sound like defeat? Every morning, you wake up and start telling yourself a story. I'm not smart enough. I don't have time. I'm just not that kind. A person, over and over again. That voice becomes your reality. And the worst part is you believe it. We don't see life as it is. We see it as we tell it. And some of us have been stuck in the same broken script for years. You say others get lucky. You say they have better chances. But when you fail, you don't blame the situation. You blame yourself. I'm just not good at this. I never get it right. You've become your own worst critic, your own biggest enemy. There's a thing called the fundamental attribution error. We give others grace, but when it's us, we go straight to blame. That's not fair. That's not truth. That's a trap. The Stoics knew better. Epictetus was born a slave. He had every excuse to quit, every reason to give up. But he chose power, to control what he could. His thoughts, his choices, his attitude. That's the difference. Carl Jung called it the confront. Those voices in your head that live like characters. The victim, the quitter, the one always saying not good enough. They talk loud, but they don't have to speak for you. Then a woman once said she wasn't creative, worked in accounting, wore gray clothes, lived a gray life. One day, she picked up a paintbrush. Not to be great, just to prove she couldn't. 6 months later, she was selling her art online. She didn't change her story, Steve. You think your limits are real. Most of them are fiction. They came from your past, your pain, your fear. But guess what? You wrote that story, and you can rewrite it. Not with pretty words, not with empty affirmations, with action. You lift, you move, you try. And every time you do something your old self said you couldn't, you take the pen back. So ask yourself, what lie had you told yourself for so long? You started living it. And what would happen if you dropped that lie today and started living the truth? Because you're not stuck in your story. You're stuck in your mind. The pen is in your hand. So what are you going to write next? The moment everything changes, what if I told you that the moment your life changes is right now? Not next week, not next year, not when things calm down. Right now. See, most people are waiting to feel ready, waiting for a sign, waiting for the stars to line up just right. But here's the truth. Life doesn't wait. It moves, with or without you. You're out here saying, I'll start when I have time. I'll change when I feel motivated. Let me tell you something. Motivation is a liar. It comes and goes. Discipline is what stays. And change doesn't wait for feeling. It happens when you move, even when you don't feel like it. Psychologists call it temporal discounting. We choose what's easy now instead of what's better later. But you know what it really is. It's fear hiding in comfort. It's you playing small because deep down, you're scared of your own greatness. The Stoics had a saying, memento mori, remember, you're going to die. Not to scare you, but to remind you that time is not promised. Every day you delay, every dream you put on the shelf is one day closer to the end. I watched my grandfather leave this world with stories still trapped inside him. Business ideas he never started, trips he never took, words he never said. He didn't regret failure. He regretted never trying. Listen to me. Transformation doesn't come from big speeches. It comes from small decisions. From saying, I'm done with this, and backing it up with action. Set your alarm. Wake up. Don't hit snooze. Do the work when nobody's cheering. Make the hard choice when no one's watching. That's where the change starts. There's something called the butterfly effect. One small move can change everything. One rep, one call, one honest conversation. And suddenly, your whole life shifts. Some talk about synchronicity moments that feel like fate lining up, but they only show up when you do. Life doesn't reward waiting, it rewards movement. So here it is. The moment you've been hoping would come. It's not in the future. It's in your hands. Right here. Right now. This is your life. Not someday. Not after the next mistake. Not after you feel brave. This moment, this breath, is the moment everything changes. If you choose it, so I'm asking you, what are you gonna do? Because the person you've been is not the person you have to remain. Now is your time. Get up, move, and become who you were born to be.